So you're looking to buy a new house, and maybe this isn't the first house you've owned. Maybe you've already owned one or two or however many other homes you may have owned in the past, and you're looking for something with a little bit more higher end finishes, a little bit better craftsmanship, a little bit more quality feel to it. Well, Coventry Homes is going to be that builder that you might want to consider. And today we're going behind the builder to take a deep dive into Coventry Homes and talk about who they are, where they build, kind of price points, and take a look at some of the floor plans and just some other information that you may want to consider if you're looking at Coventry Homes as a potential builder. So, and with that, if we have not met yet, my name is Brock and I help folks just like you buy and sell homes all over San Antonio and the surrounding areas. So if you are thinking about buying a house in San Antonio, if you're looking to move to San Antonio and you need some help finding that perfect house for you and your family, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I've got my contact information down below and I would love to answer any questions you have and more importantly, help you and your family on that journey to becoming a homeowner right here in San Antonio, Texas. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into who Coventry Homes is. Coventry Homes was actually founded back in 1988 by a gentleman named Frank McGuire, who started the McGuire Home Builders Incorporated back in Houston, Texas. So Coventry Homes is a homegrown, local to Texas builder, and that played a integral part into their, success and their growth. They started growing pretty rapidly in Houston and soon expanded to Austin, Dallas-Fort Worth, and even the San Antonio markets where they operate today. And I don't think they operate outside of the Texas area, so they are a regional builder. They're not one of those big national builders like you see with, some of the other competitors out in the space. But Frank's original goal was to help first-time home buyers as well as luxury home buyers in this space. So he had kind of the quality and craftsmanship in mind as well as having the higher end finishes. And so that was his original goal. Frank had some pretty good success with his company, so he ultimately added both Plantation Homes as well as Wilshire Homes to his portfolio as brands. But Coventry remains the flagship brand for his company, and with that built over 50,000 homes in their first 25 years here in the state of Texas. By 2013, it was actually ranked the 24th largest home builder across the nation, so you can see that they actually quickly became one of the larger builders, and they're not widely known outside of Texas, but they do have a really strong presence here in all of the major cities in Texas. Not too long ago, back in 2021, Coventry Homes was actually acquired by the Dream Finders Home brand. This is a home builder based out of Jacksonville, Florida, and that is just now the parent company of Coventry Homes and still remains its identity and brand here in the state of Texas. With this, Coventry Homes actually has all of the resources and benefits of being a large national builder. However, they retain their local expertise and craftsmanship and quality that remains as if they were their own independent brand. And with this, let's go ahead and talk about some of the price points of the homes here by Coventry Homes. Now that we have a little bit of history about Coventry Homes and who they are today, let's go ahead and talk about the price point of their homes. Interestingly enough, Coventry Homes actually has some pretty well-priced homes, at least for the San Antonio area. I have seen some of their plans starting in the mid 200s. However, most of the homes that I do see with Coventry Homes tend to be in the mid 300s all the way up into the mid 500 range. That kind of seems to be their sweet spot for most of the price of their homes, and they do have a lot of options and a lot of plans that are well above 500, even getting into the $800,000-$900,000 range. So they do have a pretty big range of pricing on their homes, but they do also have, again, a wide variety of sizes, locations, and all of the fun stuff. So here in the San Antonio area, they do have about 16 different communities, and in a lot of these communities, they have different lot sizes. So in some communities, they might be building homes on a 45-foot lot, as well as a 50-foot lot, as well as a 60-foot lot. Some of the more upscale communities, I've seen 80-foot lots. So they do a pretty big range of homes with different sizes as well. So let's go ahead and take a look to see where some of these areas are located at. And you can see this map at the top. I know it's a little small here. Let me see if I can zoom in. So yeah, maybe you can see that here, but you can see all the communities they're building, on the far west side of town, the southeast, and the northeast near the New Braunfels, Cibolo area. So these are all the common areas that a lot of the home builders are currently building in, and they do build in master plan communities. But one thing I do like about them, I'll touch on here in just a moment about them, and you want to stay tuned because it is kind of unique about a builder, especially when they're at the semi-custom builder level like Coventry Homes is. So they've got some good locations overall, depending on what you're looking at. So just a quick high-level overview, you can kind of see some of the different communities, the different sizing that they have of the communities, as well as the starting price. And remember, these starting prices is going to be for the smallest house that they build with, the base features that come with the homes for that community. So you can see, Davis Ranch, they have 375. It's pretty good. 421 starting at the Foxbrook community in Cibolo. And this is where I thought it was interesting, starting at 249 for a house in Garden Grove. Let's see if we can kind of look and see what some of these homes look like. I know they're going to have some renderings here. Unfortunately, it's not going to show us much. I was hoping to see like an actual photo of some of their houses houses, but honestly, a Coventry home for under 350, even under $300,000 is a pretty phenomenal deal because, in my opinion, Coventry Homes does very well with the quality of their homes and the craftsmanship compared to other homes at this price point. I would 100% pick Coventry Homes over a lot of the other competitors at this price point. So if you find a Coventry home that you like for a good price like that, I would personally jump on it, but that's just me. So let's see what else. I mean, 349, 429, starting at 339. So they've got some good range here. Let's see if we can find one of their more expensive communities just to show you what they look like. Okay, so I found this community here, Buffalo Crossing in Cibolo. I wanted to get you some more legitimate pictures of the exterior of the homes just to give you an idea of what they look like. Again, these homes, they're a semi-custom home, so they have a more luxury feel. They've got some good qualities to them, good amenities. So they're not going to be the cheap homes that, you know, some of the competitors, you know, are building in this area. And even at these price points, I know, you know, 449 isn't quite everyone's price point, but if you're looking for homes in this area, or at least this price rather, you're not going to find too many better quality homes in my opinion. I mean, there are the competitors and some of the other videos I've made about them, like Highland and Perry, that also have really good quality, especially at this price point. I would honestly consider Coventry to be on the same level as those home builders, if not, you know, maybe a step above, depending on, you know, what you're looking for. But overall, you're going to have some pretty good stuff with Coventry Homes. And again, they are semi-custom, so if there's some things that you don't like about it, you might be able to change it. From what I've heard, Coventry Homes typically likes to say yes to a lot of things, so if you ask them a question, they more than likely will accommodate you, from my understanding. But of course, you might have to pay for those changes, and it's not easy to do some of these changes. So just know that if there's something you don't quite like, you might be able to change it, but it might come with a price tag. So hopefully this helps you get an idea. I know it's just one. All right, so here's another community, the Ladera community. I'm not going to click on these, but I want you to kind of see just some of the exteriors of these homes, kind of see what, you know, Coventry Homes is capable of doing. I mean, 4-bed, 3-bath with almost 2,500 square feet for $389 with a Coventry home is honestly like phenomenal. Like I mean, there's some other competitors at this price point, like I already mentioned, that I don't feel like have the same level of quality, and for getting something for under, you know, 400,000 from Coventry is honestly a pretty good deal in my opinion. So they've got some really nice homes. They've got some really good layouts and just a ton of good options overall. So overall, Coventry Homes has a lot of really good plans. They always feel very well thought out, well designed. You know, it doesn't really feel cramped. Sometimes they do on some of the smaller plans and smaller lot sizes that they build on, but they do build in like these master plan communities for the most part, and that's where you're going to find a majority of their homes. So with this, if you don't want to live in a master plan community, one of the plus sides to Coventry Homes is the fact that they'll actually build on your own lot. So if you already have some land nearby, or if you want to buy a lot and build, you know, a semi-custom home from Coventry Homes, they will do that for you. You just have to talk with them, and it may, you know, change the pricing a little bit, and you might be able to change, you know, the structure components of, you know, some of their floor plans that they have, but you will be able to build a house that you want on your own lot, so you don't have to worry about living in a master plan community. However, a lot of their master plan communities, as you saw on the map earlier, are in areas where people are wanting to move to, and there's a lot of demand for their homes. So typically you'll find them in these master plan communities with some of their competitors. So it's typically you'll see them with Highland Homes or Perry Homes or Trees Homes or one of the other competitors that are on the same level as Coventry Homes. You're not really going to find them with some of the, you know, lower price point homes in the same community, although they might be just down the street. So with this Coventry Homes, again, you do have the ability to do a semi-custom build. So they do allow for some changes, and if you want to build from the ground up, you can actually go to their design center and select a lot of the interior and exterior finishes for your own home. So with that, please keep in mind too that there can be some sticker shock with some of the design upgrades. When we're talking with the sales counselor and asking for some of these changes, typically it's a little bit more difficult for them to give us an exact price, which is kind of a downfall here. But once you get to the design center, if you're like, hey, I don't like this flooring and I want that one, or I want that countertop and that sink and those door handles on my doors, some of these prices can really start to add up. So it's, you know, pretty easy for you guys to go to the design center, start building something you want, and then see that price tag at the end of it and be like, holy smokes, we just did a lot of upgrades. Maybe you need to scale back, or maybe you're okay with all the changes you made. But regardless, Coventry Homes will help you build the house that you want, especially if you're building from the ground up. Now, if you don't want to go through all that mess, they do have some really good design people that really have an eye for, you know, the detail and, you know, how the finishes kind of fit together and make it really look good. So they have a lot of inventory homes as well that you can buy that are usually kind of move-in ready. You may have seen it when we were looking at the screen, but they do have a lot of homes, again, inventory homes that they do design, and they are pretty much ready to go. Fortunately, you can't really make any changes unless you catch it really early on their inventory homes, but again, they do have some really good design elements to them, and they look fantastic. So can't go wrong with one of their inventory homes. All right, so let's take a look at some of the reviews from Coventry Homes. Unfortunately, I couldn't find like a review website that had positive and negative reviews, so this is just their testimonials on their page. Of course, they're only going to pick the ones that they want to share, right? So these are all going to be positive reviews, positive things that people are saying about Coventry Homes, but I don't know of too many negative things about Coventry Homes, at least from my own experience with helping people buy their homes, me interacting with their sales staff and working with them on my end of things. I think they're really good. I'm going to let you look at these. If you want to read some of these reviews, feel free to pause it. I'm not going to sit here and read through all of them, but as I'm talking here, feel free to read some of these. With Coventry Homes, just like any other home builder out there, of course, there are going to be people who have a really positive experience and have a fantastic time working with them, and they're never going to say anything bad about them. And then on the flip side, just as with any home builder, you're going to have some people who are going to have some bad experiences. I have not personally heard of anyone having a bad experience with Coventry Homes, but I know they're out there. I know people are going to have some bad experiences just because no builder is perfect. Every builder, no matter how good they are or how bad they are going to have people on both sides of the fence. So overall, from my experience with Coventry Homes, I've helped a couple of families buy from them, and the sales staff have always been very phenomenal to work with. They've been very helpful in negotiating and getting good deals and including things, maybe making some changes on those floor plans since we caught it early enough. So they're very helpful, and they like to do what they can to accommodate you as you're trying to buy their homes. Their construction team is always pretty communicative and on top of things and sending updates on a regular basis. Outside of this, I haven't heard too many issues with the warranty department. Usually they get everything right the first time from my experience, right? So they do a pretty good job of making sure the house is looking really good before you even close on it. Now, of course, some things happen, and you may have to work with the warranty team after you become the homeowner to get some things fixed, but that's normal, again, with any builder. So overall, I think Coventry Homes is a really phenomenal builder. I sing their praises a lot, and I would recommend them to you if you're considering a house, especially in the San Antonio area. So if you are looking for a Coventry home, if you're looking for something along this quality and this price point and this level of home with all the finishes and stuff, again, 10 out of 10 times I'm going to recommend Coventry Homes, especially over some of the other builders at some of the lower price points that we saw with Coventry. So you can't get a better home for the price, I think, at least for the lower level prices there. So when it comes to the higher price point of homes, of course, I would say let's do your due diligence and let's explore Coventry and Highland and Perry and all the other competitors at the same price point, because you might find you like one layout better than another compared to Coventry. But that's not to knock Coventry. I really like them, and again, I'm going to recommend them 10 out of 10 times. But overall, if you are considering Coventry Homes, I think they are a fantastic option. They have a lot of flexibility in their design, so if you see a floor plan you like, but maybe you want to make a small change, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to be able to change it for you, especially if you're building from the ground up. It might just cost a little extra. You do, again, have the flexibility on the interior and exterior finishes, so if you want, brick and stone combination or, different colors than your neighbors or, someone down the street, you can certainly do that. If you want certain countertops and flooring and all of the fun interior finishes that you can choose from, again, they're going to be pretty flexible and accommodating for a lot of those things. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a very well-built house with some quality craftsmanship to it, and it's going to really show compared to a lot of the other builders, especially when you're looking at those lower price points. I know I keep saying that, but compared to like Syntex or DR Horton or any of those other builders at that level that build at the same price point as some of those lower Coventry homes, you're getting a way better built house, in my opinion, with Coventry compared to those builders out there. So with that, if you are considering Coventry, I don't think you can go wrong with them. And if you happen to have any questions, whether it's about Coventry Homes specifically or buying a house in San Antonio or one of the other builders in this space, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I've got my contact information below. I would love to answer any questions you have and, of course, be a resource for you and your family. So if you are thinking about moving to San Antonio or buying a house in the San Antonio area, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd really love to sit down with you and talk to you and understand your family's needs and see how I can help you find that perfect house. So with that, thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful and you learned something about Coventry Homes, please go ahead and smash that like button. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon as well so that you won't miss another video that I make and push out here onto the channel. So with that, thanks for watching this video one final time. I hope you guys have an incredible day, and I can't wait to talk to you guys here soon.